For centuries, humanity has contemplated the enigmatic purpose of existence. Absurdist mind Albert Camus likened life to the endless burden of Sisyphus, forever toiling to push a boulder up a mountain. In this notion, existence itself is a test of endurance. Camus even suggests that Sisyphus may find happiness in his toil. So, how does one endure with resilience and contentment? Fortunately, the Stoics provide an answer. In adversity, the Stoics not only espoused the art of enduring, but exemplified it through their own confrontations with plague, exile, imprisonment, and warfare. Leveraging the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, we have compiled this manual as a reservoir of age-old strategies to bolster your resilience. This is a comprehensive guide, meant to be preserved and revisited. It can be consumed in its entirety or navigated through the links below to explore specific sections. What does it truly mean to endure? Ask, why is this so unbearable? Why can't I endure it? You'll be embarrassed to answer. Marcus Aurelius. Amidst the torment of imprisonment in Hanoi, North Vietnam, James Stockdale found his fortitude severely tested. The war camp's notorious cruelty was a crucible for the imprisoned. How did Stockdale persevere through over 7 years of captivity? Stoicism. Not only did Stoicism provide a lifeline for Stockdale during his captivity, it also fortified him against succumbing to betrayal, both of himself and his country. He found the inner strength to uphold his moral compass, recognizing that he could not control his external circumstances. Instead, he mastered his internal dialogue and emotions. That is true perseverance. It goes beyond mere survival. It entails enduring while upholding one's morality and humanity. Stoicism does not cultivate apathy. Rather, it fosters resilience. How, then, do we endure? 7 Stoic insights on perseverance. Embrace your destiny. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Epictetus. As we've previously discussed, adversity reveals one's true nature, so we must welcome hardship. Amor fati. Cherish your fate. Embrace every single moment, even the hellish ones. The likelihood of our existence is minuscule, yet here we are. The chances of that specific sperm fertilizing that specific egg were slim, yet here you stand. You've already triumphed over daunting odds. Your existence is rare and exquisite. Therefore, even our suffering is rare and exquisite. Accepting your destiny doesn't mean you're necessarily at peace with unfavorable events. It signifies recognizing that hardship is part and parcel of existence. This acceptance fuels our resilience because it instills the courage to act. Embracing and valuing every moment reminds us that we are not powerless. We are simply experiencing what it means to be alive. Avoid complaining. Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen, and the way it happens bears a lesson and a gift. Go with it. Be glad of it. Marcus Aurelius. Muster the strength to endure or accept defeat. In any case, complaining doesn't necessarily tip the balance in your favor. By all means, experience your emotions and confide in others. However, do not resign yourself to failure. Do not concede that this particular struggle will be your undoing. In reality, complaining only makes it harder to endure. Marcus contends that you can endure anything by believing it's bearable. Should you permit yourself to grumble, you're diminishing your own resolve. Though you may weather a trial by grumbling, doing so will tarnish your virtuous nature. To demonstrate virtue in the face of hardship, we must master our own thoughts. Understand it's not the end of everything. Never say of anything, "I have lost it, but I have returned it." Is your child dead? It is returned. Is your estate taken away? Well, and is not that likewise returned? But he who took it away is a bad man. What difference is it to you who the giver assigns to take it back? Epictetus. It may be harsh, but the lesson persists. Epictetus implores us not to take things as personal losses, but as returns. After all, the universe existed before us and will continue after us. Similarly, we existed before our present trials and will persist after them. In the final episode of BoJack Horseman, BoJack says, "Life's a bitch, and then you die, right?" Diane responds, "Sometimes. Sometimes life's a bitch, and then you keep living." We persist despite, and sometimes in spite of, life's adversities. Life won't always be suffering, but suffering is woven into life's fabric. When we lose an opportunity, a loved one, or when life simply feels bleak, the best course is to live virtuously regardless. This hardship will come to an end. You will come to an end. Our response to this is the only thing we can control. Don't simply endure. Putting things off is the biggest waste of life. It snatches away each day as it comes, and denies us the present by promising the future. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. What are you looking at? To what goal are you straining? The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Seneca reminds us that we do have some dominion over our destinies. By procrastinating, we relinquish the reins to our suffering. By striving to alleviate our suffering, we reclaim authority. Perseverance is proactive. We don't persevere by withdrawing until it passes. We persevere by acting rationally in the face of adversity. We persevere by determining the most virtuous course of action. Persevere immediately. Uphold yourself to a higher standard. Don't merely aspire to one. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself, and with no reservations follow the directions of reason? The principles you should endorse have already been revealed, and you have endorsed them. Whom are you waiting for, then, to improve your own character? You're not a child anymore, but a fully grown adult. If you continue to be careless and indolent, constantly postponing and deferring the day you intend to focus on self-improvement, you will live and die as an ordinary person, oblivious to the lack of growth and progress in your life. Epictetus. In times of struggle, we may be inclined to relinquish our pursuit of excellence to settle for less. We may become complacent and resign ourselves to a merely acceptable life. This is unacceptable. As we mentioned before, we have the option to persevere or to cease. Ultimately, we all confront mortality. As Epictetus asserts, choosing not to persevere will lead to an ordinary existence. While everything reaches its end eventually, there is tremendous power in the decision to persevere. A trial can conclude through our actions, or it will conclude with our mortality. We hold sway over when our suffering concludes. We must demand that we transcend this adversity. Tidy up your surroundings a bit. Advocate for better treatment. Take charge of your welfare. We cannot grow accustomed to suffering. While we may acknowledge the existence of suffering, we are compelled to combat against it. We must not become complacent. Cease inflicting unnecessary anguish upon yourself. We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. Epictetus. Perhaps much of our suffering is self-inflicted. When challenges arise, we often internalize them. While it's important to take responsibility for actions that bring about suffering, we don't have to endure it. Instead of saying, "I lost my job because I'm lazy and stupid," you can instead say, "I lost my job because I did not meet the requirements for it." The difference between these two statements is that one is a judgment, while the other is a statement of fact. When we logically scrutinize the reasons behind events, our suffering diminishes. Blaming ourselves for letting something happen doesn't resolve the issue and only complicates our emotional state. Perceiving events as purely circumstantial lessens the difficulty of actively resolving the problem. Realizing that it is not entirely our fault can empower us to take action. When facing adversity, wise individuals do not simply react impulsively. Instead, they consider how to make the most of the situation. In moments of distress, it is important to look inward and discover the inner reservoir of strength and resources. Take the time to delve deep within yourself, for you possess untapped abilities. Identify the right one and put it to good use, advised Epictetus. In challenging times, it is natural for us to enter a state of fight or flight, but as humans, we have the capacity for rational thought. Instead of succumbing to survival instincts, pause and recognize the opportunity to demonstrate virtue. Not every situation demands an immediate response. Patience and reflection can be virtues in themselves. While perseverance is admirable, it is also essential to take the time to deliberate and consider options. Unless it is a matter of life and death, there is no need to react hastily. Allow the circumstances to simmer as you gather your thoughts.